this is the SMA channel. It's not too late, the SMA, it's not too late channel. I am working with the end in mind. What I want for my daughter is optimal development. And so I found a movement lesson that has taught me how to optimize her movement and function. And so to do that, I want to work on her movement structure. You can learn more about that in the What is Movement Lesson free course. That's, if you want to know what I'm talking about, stop. If you want to know what I'm talking about when I am mentioning certain things, like, you need to watch that course, because that all talks about movement structure. You know, while I want her strong, strength comes from more structure. So I'm not going to get more muscles. I'm also using the movement lesson laser and going from there. So make sure you like and subscribe to the channel to just get tips on working with SMA. And I'm just going to be showing my full sessions of working with her and going from there. So what I'm going to do is start with her pelvis. Pelvis, if you've got breathing, things like that, pelvis is central to the movement structure. It's the first still point that you want to work on. So that's what I'm going to work on. I'm going to work on her horizon plane here. What's the problem? What's the problem? Oh, okay. As long as you're playing, just be gentle. So I'm just letting her play. She's playing right now with her sister.
I'm gonna cut your head.
The laser is really nice because it just helps her muscles be more responsive to the movement. It helps just loosen them up a little bit. Hey, don't take her stuff, please. Even with SMA and its low tone, I was pretty amazed to find out how tight she was. And yeah, so don't assume just because your child is low tone that they don't have tight muscles. You got two. So whenever working with your child, you always want to have the end in mind, and my end is optimal development. I want more movement, development, and function for her. I want movement, development, and independent skills, which is function. All those things are function. Okay, go get your own. No, go get your own.
I want that one.
No, go get your own. That one's hers.
No! This one's too shiny.
Okay, please stop. And
I want
as you watch these videos, it may seem pretty simple what I'm doing. Like, how could that help my child with SMA? But I'll tell you what, it's a lot less invasive than other therapies you've tried. Like, she doesn't get exhausted doing this stuff. She just gets more movement, development, and independence. She doesn't cry when I do this. She's not frustrated. She actually really likes it and asks for it. Because it just makes her body lighter. Her weight doesn't change, but it's easier to move her body. She's not just plastered to the floor. And that's what SMA children feel like their bodies are just plastered to the floor. So it's just not, you know, like, for you to even get an inkling of what they experience, like, you got to think of a time when you were really, really sick and you just could not move your body. You know, it's hard to get up out of bed. It's hard to do anything. Like, your body just feels so heavy. And that's what these kids feel like all the time. The other one you put in there. And so to get rid of heaviness, you have to teach the body rotation. And that's the one thing therapy is not teaching SMA children. It's really focused on strengthening their muscles, which, I mean, that can work to a point, but this girl's already maxed out of muscle strengthening. So I need something else that allows her to be strengthened, but not exhaust her, and that's not enjoyable. Like, she already struggles enough. She doesn't need to go through she shouldn't have to work so hard. Yes, there's plenty of SMA kids where they're doing the weights, and even adults, like, they're doing the weights, they're doing the exercises, but it's just, it doesn't do the same thing for them like it does for you and I that has rotational movements. It's actually doing more harm than good for them. it's wearing their body out faster. Whereas what I'm doing is I'm teaching the body how to have more stamina and sustain function and movement, and just allow her to do things longer. Ultimately, I'm working here at the center of her body because the pelvis is the center of the complete movement structure of the whole body. Movement structure is broken down into parts and pieces, literally going down to the individual bones of the body. But in general, to have success right away, even with your child, you want to work on movement structure in the pelvis. So here I'm just working on the horizon plane. And if suddenly this video ends, either alarm went off because I have to do something, or my phone died. Shouldn't die, but if you don't get a nice, beautiful end to this video, just make sure you like and subscribe. Like, you can see what I'm doing to work on my kids. She does not get therapy because therapy does not work for her. She's tapped out of therapy, and movement lesson has been a lifeline. I do movement lesson is my base. I do a little bit of muscle activation, essential oils, chiropractor when I can. And I do like craniosacral, but I don't have a practitioner by me. Movement lesson again is essential, so like I became her practitioner. Yep, I'll work on your back. Let me keep working on your pelvis, okay? We have a pull-out back that we'll hopefully get to use next summer. We're working on the deck. We've had it for like 5 years, and haven't used it yet, but we finally got it installed with electrical. This summer we've been working on a deck, didn't finish it. Next summer, the plan is to be able to use the pool with the deck done. So that's pretty exciting. Julia, she has a lot of challenges facing her. She has a pretty bad scoliosis. They're recommending surgery, and that's already out of the question for her. She is so, she is so poor and so severe in the SMA. Like, I mean, the rods would just be too heavy, and it would take out all the rotational movement that we worked on, and she just would be miserable because she wouldn't be able to do anything anymore. She doesn't have the muscle to muscle through the rods and things like that. Christina. So we've just opted out of that for estimated quality of life. Like, personally, my husband and I have decided, like, we're going to reverse it. And I just want to put my journey on here. I've put in a few videos on in the past, but I just haven't been clear on my goal of how to actually do that. And I learned it wasn't to focus on scoliosis, but it was to focus on optimal development. And so here I'm just starting with the end in mind. In the end, I want for her, like, I see her walking, I see her doing everything everyone else can do. I see her cured, actually. I work on her as if she's cured. And that's my mindset as I work on her. And that ultimately will give me the best results. And you the best results, whether or not you're doing movement lesson or anything else. Like, you work on your child as if they're cured. I want her to believe in the future and everything that's possible. Both my kids, the other little girl, you see her crawling around, Christina, she also has SMA type 1, not as severe. Obviously, you can see she can walk and do things like that. But I also work on here. You'll see videos of her, and she's already, the scoliosis is already starting. The hip development is poor. She's got a hip coming out, which you can look at the hips to determine your scoliosis. I mean, any doctor you talk to, that's not what they're looking at, but I just have learned that hip structure is everything. And so if you don't have hip structure, you know, you're at high risk for scoliosis if those arches are coming out at all. And arches being if just the femur heads are coming out at all in your hip structure, like you're looking at scoliosis or kyphosis.
That's what I want. And now I want more.
Still just working on the horizon plane the whole time this has been going on.
Oh yeah.
That'll make more sense if you take the What is Movement lesson course. The link will be in the description. Nina, could you give her back the things, please?
You can have this.
Honey, she wants all of them, please. She's giving them to you. There's more. Do you want me to get more? What? In just a minute, okay? Why don't you keep playing with them? Movement lesson by far is giving me way more time than just hours and hours of therapy that are just showing zero, if any, results in just improved movement development and independent skills. And two, like for stamina. Stamina is a really big one for me. Like she could do therapy and maybe strengthen muscle, but it's not gonna, like, the therapy is exhausting her, not energizing her, and that's what movement lesson really offers, is an energy. What do you need, baby? Hey, can I keep working on your pelvis for a minute? What? Even though she's doing this, I'm still just working on the horizon plane all the way up her back and her head. Oh, a hug? Oh, big hug. What? Daddy? He'll be home here soon. So still just focused on that horizon plane. Her butt is just really stuck to the table. And I could easily come here, get my hands underneath, and as you keep watching, if we get to that point, like suddenly it will be easy to lift her butt, and that's how I know I've got rotation. Another head. Very good. Whoop. Not camera over. I'm just moving this laser in various parts and pieces to help with it. There's an awesome program that I helped put together with Movement Lesson of really just giving you all the tools that you need as a parent to work with your child. Like, we already spend thousands of dollars on our kids pursuing any and everything to help them. And I just found a way to more effectively help them. And working with Michelle Turner, the creator of Movement Lesson, we just really wanted to, like, not have help cost an arm and a leg. Like, to really give you tools to optimize your child's function, movement, development, and independent skills. Like, give you more than you could ever hope for. And so the link to that program will be here. It's an extensive program, taking you through a year of courses, teaching your child, giving your child the experience of development, no matter their age. Even if you thought your child did some milestones, that, you know, because of the SMA, they're not quality milestones. They're just not. They're deviated. And so, to get more out of your child's movement and things like that, we've got to get better milestones. Okay? I just need this a little closer. Fix what, baby? Oh, it's fine. Just leave it. So now what I'm working on is just the driving plane. I feel like I've got good rotation going along the horizon plane, but the butt's still not coming off the floor. And so we don't have buoyancy yet in her system. But this is creating buoyancy. If you think of how a boat sits on water, it disperses the water, right? And so we need to teach her body how to disperse the gravity around her so that it's not like pressing down on her. We want her to float in gravity. Driving plane. Working on the driving plane. I defaulted to the horizon plane, but I want to work on her driving plane. Biggest thing I'm creating is movement structure. Instead of having your child memorize thousands of moves, or like the goal is I don't want her to have to think about her movements. I want her to know what she wants, and it just happens in the body. So movement lesson is not about bringing awareness to the system. It's about giving it the ability to just do and to just be. Some might call it the subconscious, but this is more than subconscious. This is allowing her inner intelligence to manifest itself, teaching it how to connect with her body and actually move the body.
Mom.
What's sweetie?
What's your favorite food?
I don't know, baby. Pizza? Yeah, I like lasagna, actually. Lasagna is my favorite.
What's your favorite fruit?
My favorite fruit? Oranges.
Oranges are good.
They are very good, huh?
I've tried fries. I've tried fries. When I eat them, they're so good.
Fries are pretty good. It's not a fruit. You're silly.
They're McDonald's.
Huh?
They're McDonald's food.
They're a fast food. McDonald's has them, but lots of fast food restaurants have fries. Even slow food restaurants.
Wait. Can I have another hug?
In just a minute. I'm in a really good spot. Now the driving plane's really important because this is what's gonna help reverse the scoliosis. Right now, all of her movement is really originating from here in her body, which the movement is good, but the body has put its main area of movement here where the scoliosis is forming, and that's due to the poor structure of her hips, and I don't want that. And so I'm having to reteach her that I want the center of her whole movement structure to be here at the pelvis, and I've got to make that really strong, that structure really strong. And so part of that comes from my intent, working with the end in mind. I intend her to function like every other person. And so I'm working on her with that intent so that I'm communicating to her body the power that I want to create in the pelvis and the function that I want to create there with this movement structure. Now I can feel the buoyancy starting to happen because she's getting lighter and lighter. And so when you're creating the movement structure, it creates a magnetic field. And it's that magnetic field that disperses. The gravity allows the person to be a unit to themselves, but still connected to the earth. Well, then I can't pick you up right now, okay? One thing is I work on her driving plane. Is this hip is really hiked up over here, and this hip is down here. So, because of the scoliosis, she can't rotate this hip down. She doesn't have the driving plane in the hips to bring the spine back to center. And so that's what I'm working on, is allowing her hip to counter the spine and move it back to center. And I'm not just going to get it in one lesson. This is going to take consistent day after day work. but I know the future I want for her, it's optimal. And whatever that means, it's happy. I'm happy with it. But at the same time, that doesn't stop me from having desires for what that means. Like, I want to reverse the scoliosis. I want to see her walk without her wheelchair. Like, now the laser is really nice because it just, like, movement lesson is awesome because it's like years worth of therapy. Okay, maybe not years, but it's like months worth of therapy. Why don't you turn this off, Julia? Months worth of therapy in days, or not in days, in hours, as I work on her. Just months worth of therapy. Sorry, so months worth of therapy in hours. Saves me so much time. Turn it off. When I'm using the laser, like, this is like years worth of therapy in an hour. Because I just don't want it to keep going off. If it's not going off, you can leave it on. Nah. And so it really speeds along the work. I mean, I recommend the laser, but you can do a lot even without the laser and get great results. I just will probably always use it because I want to get the most out of the time I have working with her. And for some parents, especially doing movement lesson, it's really tempting to be like, oh, I've got to do hours and hours of movement lesson. Like, no, you don't. Like, an hour or two of movement lesson a day or at a time, like, that's, again, months worth of therapy. So it's in fact saving you time, and you did a lot in a little bit of time, and now you can spend time doing other things instead of spending all your time in therapy or just doing exercises that you just don't even understand how they're helping the system. Whereas with movement lesson, you can understand exactly how it's addressing your child's movement needs with the movement structure. I didn't always use the laser. I didn't have it for a long time. And even recently I haven't used it a lot, but as of the last couple months, I'm very much more focused on what I'm doing. I mean, I'm working on my book, SMA, It's Not Too Late, that just really goes over the first 2 years of her life. Like, my goal is to get her to walking. And she did walk on her second birthday. Yeah, she was in a walker, but we got there. But, I mean, it would have otherwise not happened without movement lesson. And priesthood blessings and a couple other things, but movement lesson was the big caveat that allowed it. I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and 100% I believe in the Holy Ghost, personal revelation, priesthood blessings. And, you know, I prayed when she was 2 weeks old. Like, I knew something was wrong, and I just asked Heavenly Father to teach me how to care for her, how to help her become what He would intend her to become, to be the miracle He intended her to be. For whatever reason, I knew that she just was intended to be a miracle in this life. And, you know, I asked Him to help me learn how to do that. And so that book is just my journey of learning how to do that. And then these videos are just showing that. I'll have more videos on this channel of just her early life. And so just make sure you like and subscribe to see that, like, to see the things that she's gone through. And Okay, let me work on you, and then after I'm done working on you, then you can do music. Okay, so what I want to do while I'm working on you is I want to record them so that we can help other parents and show them what we're doing to help you. I know, but we're going to show them what we're doing to help you learn how to walk on your own. Wouldn't that be sweet? And don't you think other kids would like to learn how to walk like you? What? So I'm walking now?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have the thing. She can walk with a walker, but we always talk as if she will be able to do what everyone else can do. You know, with God, all things are possible. And so,
why did you pick at your ear?
Because I have anxiety. Anxiety is when you're nervous about something.
What do you need to put on your ear?
Oh, nothing. I just need to stop touching it.
On your ear. What, my ear? On your ear.
Yeah. Okay, so I've done the driving plane. Now I'm going to do the front and back plane. Again, if you want to learn more about that, you want to do the free course, What is Movement Lesson? Huh?
Can you go get me my toy tablet?
I'm keeping the laser over on this right hip because that is where she really struggles with the driving plane, and I want to get that hip to be more receptive to my to the structure I'm creating. And two, I want that hip to reform. I want it to I want the pelvis to reform and create a pelvic structure, and I think that's possible if I give the right movement structure input and I have the right intent. And two, I need to believe that it's possible. You know, where you know, you got to work with the end in mind. So what end you believe in, like your actions are gonna create that end. And so if you have doubts like that it's not going to work, well, guess what? Your actions will show that, and you won't get that. And then the only other caveat is if it's not God's will to give you the miracle that you seek, like. And so you just have got to be patient with his ways. But I honestly believe that he intends her to be a miracle, to be cured of SMA. And so we're going through that. She is on risdiplam, the Evrysdi. We started that new. She did. She was on Spinraza, nusinersen for the first 6.5 years of her life. We really just over 6.5 years. We only just recently started the risdiplam. I think we're on the 3rd month. And she's going to be, so 6.5 years. She's going to be 7 here in 3-ish months. So, you excited for your birthday?
Yeah.
Boom, baby.
I don't know what I'll get for my present.
Your present?
I don't know what I'll get.
What do you want?
Something I like.
What do you like?
I like.
You're starting to get that pelvis to come up off the table. She's not stuck to the floor anymore. That's because she has movement structure.
What's that mean? What does that mean?
What?
What does structure mean?
Structure?
Yeah.
Structure is like, almost say foundation, but it's not quite the foundation. So structure is like foundation plus the walls in a house. It's the bones. A hug. Huggies. Oh, that was a big hot pop in your hip. You all right? Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you stretching? Oh, pooping. This really helps with constipation. If you can teach the pelvis, this front and back plane, that's huge. Joe calls it the pubic bone strike, but it's huge in just eliminating waste. It's a movement that you and I have that we just don't even know that we use. Now I am working above her pelvis, but I'm trying to get her pelvis to move back and forth. So as I'm working here at her pelvis, I'm not getting that rocking, and so I'm having to come slightly above the pelvis and rotate, work on that front and back plane, and see if I can get movement to originate in the pelvis, in the structure that I'm creating with the 3 planes. And right now I'm just strictly working on initiating rotation in her system. Indirectly working on weight transfer, but that's not my main focus. That definitely doesn't help because she has her legs tucked up, and so I'm not getting much out of that pelvis. So I can come up and use her legs and try to work on that. Just working on the front and back plane. Even though I'm touching her legs, I'm focusing on the movement in the pelvis. What?
Can you tie this?
What do you want it done?
Right here.
Laser, you don't want it shining in your eyes. It's dangerous. I lost them a long time ago. I want to say this comes with like glasses for you to wear.
Julia, I'm a superhero.
If you get the laser ever. Are you happy? Very good. Why don't you put your legs down like this? Bend your knees. Put your legs down for a minute while I'm working on this. Now, one of the keys to movement lesson is being really gentle. Here she's starting to kick back and forth, so it's okay for me to alternate and go with it. That's like making all the 3 planes work together. So that's how I know I'm getting into those planes, and I've created that structure because now she's just playing. And now she's starting to wiggle all over, which is